Except for a few very small engines, today's internal combustion engines utilize a pressurized lubrication system to deliver oil where needed. To function properly, a pressurized system requires oil circulation and pressure. The sole engine component responsible for the generation of proper oil flow and pressure is the oil pump assembly, the heart of the system. Submerged in this reservoir of oil is the oil pump pickup tube. A screen on the end of the tube strains the oil to prevent large particles from entering the pump assembly. The oil pump then forwards the oil, now under pressure, to the engine galley. Oil pumps vary in their appearance and location. They're designed to produce more than an adequate flow, volume, and pressure under all engine operating speeds and conditions. The pump is driven either directly or indirectly by the engine camshaft or crankshaft. With engine clearances between moving parts measured at thousandths of an inch, proper lubrication alone isn't enough for long engine life. An engine's worst enemy is contaminants in the lubricating oil. It wasn't so long ago that contaminants and dirty oil necessitated an oil change every 500 miles. And after 20,000 miles, you could count on a complete engine overhaul. All that changed with the advent of the oil filtration system. First developed in the 1920s, oil filtration was available for many years strictly as an add-on accessory item. The oil filter didn't become an original equipment item until the 1950s. Well, today, gasoline engines commonly last well over 100,000 miles, and diesel engines over 700,000 miles, thanks to effective filtration systems. The early filtration systems were called bypass or part flow filtration. In a bypass system, the oil is drawn into the oil pump and forced into the engine oil galley. Approximately 90% of the oil exiting the oil pump goes directly to the engine bearings and other moving parts before it drains back into the crankcase. The other 10% of the oil is diverted into the filter assembly. There it is cleaned as it flows through the filter media and then exits through the restrictor orifice to the crankcase. But there's one drawback. It only filters 10% of the oil per circulation cycle. As engines became more powerful and greater demands were made upon lubricating systems, a need for a better oil filtration system became apparent. Now, out of this need came the development of the FullFlow oil filtration system. As with bypass filtration, oil is drawn from the reservoir through the oil pump assembly. However, unlike the bypass system, all of the oil is pumped into the filter assembly before entering the engine oil galley, thus the name FullFlow filtration. Full flow systems can also become plugged if contamination levels become too high. When a full flow filter becomes plugged, oil flow through the filter is greatly inhibited or prevented, resulting in insufficient oil flow for proper engine lubrication. Oil viscosity, or excessive thickness of the oil, can also increase the level of restriction through a full flow filter. Since temperature directly affects the oil viscosity, on a cold day the oil may be so thick that it is unable to flow through the filter assembly in sufficient levels to adequately lubricate the engine. Now, whether it's caused by contaminants or oil viscosity, as restriction through the oil filter increases, so does the differential pressure. Now, differential pressure is a term used to describe the difference in oil pressure between the inlet of the filter and its outlet. When restriction occurs, the oil pump will keep the pressure on the inlet side constant, but the pressure on the outlet side will decrease as the resistance to oil flow through the filter increases. To prevent any damage to the engine from a lack of oil, full flow systems incorporate a differential pressure relief valve, commonly known as the filter bypass valve. The valve is located in the filter itself, the engine mounting base, or in the case of a cartridge-style filter, the center hold-down bolt. The bypass valve is designed to open at a specific level of differential pressure, not system pressure. When the differential pressure reaches the specified level, the valve opens, allowing unfiltered oil to flow to the engine oil galley, thus supplying the engine with sufficient quantity of oil for proper lubrication.